What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So check it out. In today's video, we're going to show you how we're going to grow one of our favorite things to grow every year, which is sugarcane. We get ours from a Mexican store. That's what we call them here in California because they carry different things. But nonetheless, regardless of where you get them from, we're going to show you 3 different methods on how to root your sugar cane for the upcoming growth season. We're going to use plastic bags, a bucket, and we're going to use a planting method. All right, and we're going to break each one of these down. All right, so first of all, so when you pick out your sugar cane, if you look at your sugar cane, you'll notice that your sugar cane looks a lot like bamboo. All right, so both bamboo and sugar cane is actually in the grass family, but it looks a lot like bamboo. It has these different segments along the stalk, right? And each segment is separated by joints, and at each joint is a node. Okay, so each node is a new growth or a new sugar cane that's going to come out of this one existing sugar cane. Along that node, along that joint, if you look really closely, you can see these little dots. That's where your roots are going to come from when you actually start the rooting process. You're going to see your roots form straight from that section of the sugar cane. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. So yeah, so each joint has a node. And if you look at the sugar cane, you can see that each one of the nodes is pretty prominent and sticking out pretty good. Got some pretty solid nodes on this joint. So we're gonna go ahead and chop this joint up and get it planted and get it ready for next year. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this piece of sugar cane up. I'm gonna cut right between the 2 joints, right in the middle. Just cut it right in half, right here. Just like that. Boom. So check out how good and healthy this sugarcane actually looks like. If you're not, I've had sugarcane where I cut into it, and it was actually brown on the inside or red on the inside. I don't know what that means, but hey, I didn't use it. This also has a really strong node on it too, so that's a good piece. And we're gonna put that to the side and go ahead and cut up the rest of this so we can use it. Okay, so we got all 3 of those pieces cut. We're gonna put those pieces in this paper towel, wet, throw it in the plastic bag, and let it do its thing. So now we're gonna talk about the container. We're gonna cut some pieces for the container. I don't want to fill my container up full of water. I'm only gonna put maybe a quarter of fill up a quarter of this container, right? So because of that, I'm gonna cut the cane about 3/4 of the length that I just cut, right? That way I can take the cane, put it in the water, and the joint and the node and the root zone is going to all be submerged under the water, and I'll still have this part sticking out of the water remaining dry. And the reason why I do that is because what I've learned over the last couple of years of doing this is that sometimes that sugar cane will rot out. I don't know what causes it, and me personally, I think it's just the sugar cane just gets too wet, and it rots out, and then it's no good. So we're going to go ahead and cut through these and get on to and show you how these are going to go into the container. All right, the first method we're going to do, guys, is going to be the plastic bag and the wet paper towel. So what you want to do essentially is you want to take these paper towels. You want to make sure they're big enough, first of all. So make sure you got a big enough piece. These are like the ones that's like 2 that makes it 1 piece. So you want to make sure you have a big enough piece. You're going to wet it. Right? If you had a spray bottle, that will work too. You could just dampen it. You don't want it like soaking, dripping wet. You just want the towel to be damp. Right? So I'm gonna put this in here. I'm going to unfold it, open it back up. All right, so we got it open. It's a little ripped, a little torn, but it's all right. It'll still do the trick. It's gonna still work. So now I'm gonna just take a piece of sugar cane and I'm gonna roll it up in this paper towel. Easy day, easy money, baby. All right, the table's a little dirty, so it got a little bit of dirt on it, but it's all good. It's not gonna hurt anything. All right, so now we got this thing wrapped up, and I'm gonna do this for the remaining 2 pieces. All right, now that you got your 3 joints, sugarcane rolled up. Now what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put these into a plastic bag and hope that I don't ever get pulled over by the police while I got sugarcane in the plastic bag. But anyway, that's it, y'all. I got 3 sugarcane wet paper towels, plastic bag. Now all I'm gonna do now is put these on top of the refrigerator where it's warm and let Mother Nature do its thing. All right, so now we're gonna use a container. But before we do that, I'm gonna show you how to do it in a plastic cup because it's gonna be the same method either way. So we have this plastic cup. It's like a 16-ounce cup or something like that. I'm gonna just fill it about halfway with water, maybe a little bit less than half. There you go. Now you can see it. And I'm gonna take my cutting that I already have, and I'm gonna make it just a little bit smaller so that it can go in the cup without tipping the cup over. Now, me personally, I don't think this makes a difference, but I like to cut the sugarcane that's going in the containers at an angle. I just think it looks better, so I just like to do it. I don't think it has any bearing on whether the thing is going to root or not, but me personally, this is what I just like to do. So I'm going to cut it at an angle so that it looks like that. This is it. Nothing fancy. I just want to cut it at an angle. Next, I'm going to cut some of the stalk off of this end so that, like I said, it's not too large and protruding out of the cup and running the risk of being too top heavy and tipping the cup over. Because the main thing that you want to make sure happens here is you want to make sure that that node and that root zone, basically that entire joint stays submerged under water, right? Because that's what's going to activate that's going to be the stimulus for the root growth. Now, just add a little bit more water here. There. Now I feel like it's at the appropriate level, and it should be good to go. All right, that's all it takes, y'all. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take much. This is like super easy to get these things to root. But just make sure that when you put them in there, you don't put it in there upside down, because I've also found that so the node is going to grow up, the root's going to go down, and the node is going to grow up. But if you put it in upside down, I think that's another thing that happened with me is that I put a couple in upside down, and it didn't like have the same effect. It didn't root the same way. Now when I put the sugarcane in a bigger container, I want to leave the stalk a little bit bigger. That way you can see the size of this container. I just wanted to sit in just in the water, just like this. I don't want it to be sliding all down and the entire sugarcane goes underwater, right? The entire thing gets submerged, because like I said before, I've done it that way, and the whole thing just rotted out because it slid down and I didn't know it, and I didn't catch it in time because I wasn't checking it every day, right? So I'm gonna leave it just a little bit longer, all right? But like I said before, make sure you know where your nodes and your roots are to make sure that root zone, basically that entire joint, including the node, is going to be submerged underwater. And honestly, guys, this is like a super easy process. It's been one of the easiest things for me to root. Now, all in all, y'all, once you're done with the container, this is how it's going to look when it's inside the container. So last but not least is the planting method. Now, I've never done this before, but I do know that sugarcane will come back year after year if you plant it. However, if the frost hits it, if it gets too cold, you're starting over every year. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw 2 cane in this one pot, which once the spring arrives, I'm going to separate them and plant them in their own separate beds or containers, right? But be careful when you're planting 2 sugarcane in a pot like this, 2 or more, because those things are going to send up so many blades and so many shoots. Like I planted 3 in one bucket, and it didn't grow anymore because I think it was fighting for nutrients because it did something that I wasn't expecting. And like it sent up all these shoots and all these I'm gonna just say blades of grass because I don't know what else they were, but all these leaves and it didn't do anything. It didn't go anywhere. And I think it's just because I had too many cuttings in one 5-gallon bucket. And like I said, I only put 3 in there. I just didn't know they were gonna do that. Lastly, we're gonna water this thing in real good, and I'm gonna actually take this in the house so that it can continue to grow throughout the rest of the winter and into the spring season. And then I'm gonna put it outside in the spring. All right, guys, so real quick, just want to give you guys an update as to how everything is looking right now as far as the sugarcane cuttings, right? So we're about a week after we made the video about how to actually root the sugarcane. Okay, so remember we had some that were growing in cups. Check out those roots. Right, those good looking, strong, healthy roots. Even if you look at the node, let me see, you can get it right there. Boom. There we go. Even that node looks really, really nice, knit really nice and strong. Okay, and like I said, this is after a week. But check this out. Check these out. These are the ones that were in the plastic bag on top of the refrigerator, wrapped in a paper towel. Look at those roots. I was like, look at that node right there. That node is really solid, really pronounced. Let's see, what else? This one, I think this is the node right here for this one. And I think right here for that one. Yeah, check that out, man. Like I said, this is all a week later. So in my opinion, this is dirt. The black stuff you guys see, the table was dirty that day when I wrapped them, and I think you saw it in the video. So that's not mold. That's not nothing bad. That's just the soil that was on the table, including this big spot right here. That's just soil that was on the table. Got on the napkin, the paper towel. But in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna agree with me, this method right here is a beast. This is the best right here, right? Look at this thing, man. After a week, after just 1 week, as compared to this, these are the longest roots we have that's in the container or in the cup. The ones that were in the bigger bucket didn't even root like this, right? The roots are much smaller. And that all came off the same sugarcane, right? So, and I'm saying that to say, I don't think it was like, sometimes when you plant things by seed, sometimes that one particular seed could be bad, right? So you can plant 10 things by seed and have 9 germinate. And that one seed was just bad. But this was all from the same sugarcane stalk. And look at the results, man. And look, man, like, this is crazy. That's crazy, but I'm thoroughly impressed. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, you guys know what to do. I don't have to ask every video, right? You guys know what to do. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Appreciate y'all. Peace out.